Happy Monday, everyone. I trust we all had a productive weekend. I know that I did. Wear this shirt today for Trista. She noticed it in the background on another one of my videos and got me to thinking we share a common illness, and Goonies never say die. Shortly after I left my parents a second time, I went to my sister and apologized for being a terrible person to her in the past. I took responsibility for all the things that I had done to her. There were many. She has always forgiven me. She is nothing that my parents described to me. Once I got the chance to know her, I saw they had been lying my entire life about what kind of person my sister is and was. My mother used me as a henchman. A flying monkey is a behaviorist term. My mother would get me worked up about my sister and then send me out to hurt her if I could. In my defense, she couldn't get me to do things every time, though she would always try. It normally didn't come down to more than just nasty words, but I said them to my sister on different occasions out of pure ignorance, and I feel terrible for that. I've asked for forgiveness from my sister a few times in that fashion. She always forgave me. My sister is one of the most forgiving people I've ever known. Currently, she's one of the few humans I can get along with long term. My mother absolutely hates that we are friends. We always played the yo-yo with mom and dad. When one child was gone, the other was king. Normally, my sister was the one away, but as the years went on, we started overlapping. When we both were gone, we were great friends. Never have an argument. At least nothing drastic. Once our mother came into the picture, she would manipulate us into fighting with each other. Our father would just sit back and be the rude and intimidating muscle. I did not blame my parents for making me do this to my sister and her family. It was all done by me. I should have known better and acted with maturity. I trusted that mom and dad were right about her being so evil, so I backed them up. I fought for them ferociously. They spoke constantly about how my sister was a scum of the earth since I was very young. My sister has her faults, as do we all, but that's her own business, and she doesn't deserve to be judged solely on them. From what I've ascertained on my own is that my sister is in fact a great mother who has way more love and forgiveness than I have. She's a far cry better than both of my parents. I think she's proved that to everyone. I've witnessed some of the correspondence between all of them over the years, and I see her reaching out to be caring and helpful when it's met with loathing, rhetoric, and poking fun. My mother has publicly taken a gift from me and talked great about it, and then publicly told my sister how terrible her gifts are. I can't believe this behavior by someone's parents. She will mention hardships in her life, just grabbing at the possibility of them being kind to her. Maybe give her a kind word or some advice. It's met with hostility and belligerence. I've watched my mother write intentional, aggressive, and antagonistic emails to my sister and giggle at herself for doing it. That is a very strange way of going about a relationship. In order to get some advice or consolation for issues, one has to give some occasionally, and then someone will give it back to you. Yes, she can sometimes be accusatory, and rightfully so. To be honest, it does not seem like she hurls too many accusations at all. She's primarily concerned with a fresh start on the relationship when I watch her engage our parents. The fact is that neither of them have ever atoned for their behavior. They failed her while telling her she failed them. Now it's obvious who failed now, and we both have grown children. Drama from childhood is mostly forgotten, but there's many things that are recent. If my parents atone for more recent things and start to be a contributing member of the relationship, I promise that the past will be totally forgotten and no one will have to feel guilt for someone's parenting style. One theory explains 3 parenting styles: authoritative, authoritarian, and permissive. Which one do all of us fall under? I'm fully aware of my parenting style and that of my wife. Okay. Being that, this is basically, this one would be the smear campaign of my sister, which happened when she was born. I have no idea. My sister's 7 years older than I am. I and my sister have tried to figure out why my parents ostracized her and banished her from everything, but we cannot come up with anything. Other than just sheer hatred. There's a very deep Freudian jealousy going on there because my sister was a bit of a rebel where I was not. I was a yes man, she was the rebel. And she would like sneak out and she was always got a boyfriend and stuff like that. That's the kind of teenager that she was, and she just rebelled against them because they were very hard on her. That was actually probably just a direct result of how hard, because I watched it like a movie. I said when I was 7 years young, when I was 8, she was 14, 15. And that's the difference. You imagine an 8-year-old watching a 15-year-old, like what she's going through, boys and stuff, 15-year-old girl, and they just treated her like shit. So, they totally lied to me too. They'd come around the back and say she was just this bad, terrible drug user, just whatever they could come up with. She gets with these boys and they're irresponsible, and it's really hard to trace any of it because it was just like a day by day. And it was just anything and everything that could be done to pit me and my sister against each other. My dad, of course, wouldn't do anything, and my mother would just sit there and just talk. And Melissa never got any of that. I was the henchman. A flying monkey is a behaviorist term. If any of you guys deal with this, check that out. Like flying monkey, it's of course a term to the Wizard of Oz, flying through the air, and the witch sends them out, and they do her bidding. And that was just really, with my mother in particular, was just like emotional ammo. She would lie to me about somebody, and me and her would be a united front, and I would, basically I was sort of like a mob hitman. So, just came down to nasty words, Just, I never really did anything to my sister. I never did anything to my sister otherwise. That's the thing. It's also petty. It was also petty with our family, just talking shit about each other pretty much. But a pretty good paragraph there about my sister and the type of person she is. At this point now, I made a very huge mistake as it came to my sister. My sister is a very good person. And like I say, everybody's got faults, so I don't want nobody judging me on my faults like that, but mom and dad would do that. And then the yo-yo with mom and dad, my sister did that very often. It would seem like a 6-month cycle, and I was around all the time, and I watched her do the yo-yo, and then when I finally got hip to the way mom and dad did shit, I started going. And then it took a little while. Some of you that have this problem too might see that, you go, you come back, you go, you come back a few times, and you just keep getting kicked while you're down. And then finally, by the time you're 48, you go, oh man, maybe it's time to stop. The parenting styles, I think I'll go ahead and touch on for the last point here. I do not remember exactly who it was, which psychologist it was. You'll have to look it up. I should probably come locked and loaded so I can give you guys the right information. But authoritative, authoritarian, and permissive are 3 parenting styles. A very, very accurate theory that I've studied for quite a few years, and they're pretty much self-explanatory. Authoritative is very balanced. Authoritarians, like my father was, like very much strict and my way or the highway, and then permissive, which is nothing at all. I'm just going to ignore you, just do whatever you want. So authoritative is really the most positive one, and it ends up being a mix between not so much authoritarian but permissive and a structured parenting style. So check it out and see what you fall under. And see what your parents fall under. It probably will give you a little bit of clarity in exactly what your issues could be in the future, and help you out and make you come to grips with your past. Have a great day, guys.